Hi everyone. It's late. I'm tired, but I've been on the phone for the last couple of hours with different people, and I just felt like I wanted to say something about love and relationships. Clearly, one of those things that we all struggle with, right, is relationships, being in relationships, and we have all kinds of relationships. Our first one is one with our mother and our father, our siblings, and then our friends. And as we grow up, of course, we've got relationships with loved ones, boyfriend, girlfriend. So today I was on the phone with a couple of young ones, and I say young, but they're all in their 20s, young adults that I've had the privilege of mentoring and, being in their lives in different capacities over the years. And, it's always interesting to me, the things that we struggle with, which are so human and so universal. So, you know, let's talk about this thing, love. And, when we are in a relationship with someone, whoever it is, doesn't matter whether it's our family or whether it's our romantic relationship or whether it's even our employer for that matter, right? Um, we end up at some point, we tend to lose ourselves, because we always want to make the other person happy. Because we love them. So we want to make the other person happy. But what ends up happening is in somewhere in there, we kind of overdo it, I think. And we start to um, bend over backwards to, do stuff to make the other person happy. And, I know that I had changed, I was dating someone in college and, he wasn't going to graduate in 4 years. And so I actually slowed down and added an extra major so that he wouldn't feel bad that I wasn't graduating in time. And of course, eventually I did end up breaking up and moving on. But, I was talking to someone who's a couple people tonight in similar stories where, they've changed their majors or they're taken a different path to so that their partner is happy with them, and in the meantime they're miserable, right? And so it just made me wonder. And when someone calls me, I don't sit here and give you advice because that's not my job. When I was going through my divorce, my mother never once said, when I was going through my struggle in my marriage, my mother never once said, get a divorce. My parents, nobody ever said that to me. I was very lucky. Instead, they listened and they gave me feedback and they gave me the space to make my own decisions, whatever they were, even if they didn't support me in there. And you know, I took a long time, getting to certain decisions that I should have made and saved a lot of time. So whenever someone calls me, I don't give advice because it's not my place to give you advice and to tell you what decisions to make. I think instead, what needs to happen is, we just present the different choices and the consequences that come with the different choices, right? Every choice we make in life has a consequence. It's as simple as that. Consequences are not always bad. Consequences are just the result of making a choice. So when you make a choice, you might have a positive consequence, or you might have a negative consequence. For example, if you end up, eating a lot of sweets and chocolates and fattening food, the consequence of that is that you will gain weight. Simple as that. If you end up exercising and eating healthy, then you will lose weight. Neither one is good or bad. It just is, right? And so my role in people's lives is when they call me is just to present them, help them see explore what their choices are, and then they have to be able to have the courage to live with the consequences. So let's talk a little bit about, when we love someone, we do we what do we do? Is it okay that we lose ourselves in them? Um, is that what love is? Or is love unconditional acceptance of the person and support of the person? You know, um, I think that's what love is, and I've been blessed to have that from growing up, and as an adult. So, having the courage to live life in a relationship and being in a healthy relationship instead of wanting to control, instead of wanting to change, instead of wanting to, make the person be who you think, your version of who you want them to be. That's not love. That's control. That's insecurity. Love is just unconditionally accepting someone for who they are and supporting them. And if If we don't feel that in a relationship, no matter what it is, then it's time to really evaluate and make some tough choices. You know, of course, there are relationships that you can't walk away from, right? You are going to be, the mother of whoever. You are going to be the daughter or the son or the sister. Those relationships don't change. But then it's about setting expectations and setting boundaries and then living with those consequences. But when you're in a romantic relationship and even if you're married, obviously, you can walk away. When you're in a friendship, you can walk away from that person. When you are employed, you have that choice of walking away from that job. Yes, there will be consequences in the short term and in the long term, but you do have a choice all the time. You might not always like the choice, but you do have a choice. Um, and the choice is, are you going to be true to yourself, or are you going to just, live with whatever comes up? And again, either way is okay. They're just lessons that are, opportunities to learn. It's no judgment one way or the other. If you choose to stay, good for you. Maybe your lesson is to, change and comply, and it is what it is. If you choose to walk away, good for you. Maybe your lesson is to stand up for yourself. Again, there's no judgment in any of this. It's just about lessons and whatever, and like I've said before, if we don't learn the lesson the first time or the second time or the third time, it'll just keep presenting itself in different ways until we do. So, what I have learned in my 44 years in working with, many people, and of course being in relationships and being married and being divorced and, being a mom and being a single mom and whatever, the different roles that I play, is that it's the most important relationship I have with anybody is the one I have with myself and the one I have with God. And really, to me, those are the most important relationships. Even my relationship, my role as a mother is secondary, because if I don't have my relationship with myself, and if I don't love myself fiercely, unconditionally, and if I don't have a healthy relationship with my God, then I'm in trouble. Then what do I have to give to others? What do I have to offer others? Right? I can't give to others what I can't give to myself. And so as long as, I'm true to myself and I'm true with my God, which I'm good with, shukar mullah, thank God, right? I think that's for me the most important relationship. And then everything else kind of falls from that. It goes from there. So I think that's it. Enough said. Hope this has been helpful. I pray that you have the courage to stand in your own space, in your own truth. And I've said before, please feel free to, inbox me. I'm always available to get on the phone and talk, and, have a quick conversation. I might not always chat. If you just want to, send me chat messages, I don't always check my messages in that sense. But again, all the best. And, please feel free to comment and share if this has been helpful. Take care. God bless. And good night.